Let's break down the most popular diet on the internet today, and that is the keto diet. Yes, we are finally talking about the keto diet, and this diet has torn the fitness community apart. There are people who just live and die by the rule that the keto diet is the best diet for humans. And then there are other side of people, the other group of people who, after looking at the keto diet, or even after trying it, after reading the researches on it, and after thinking about it deeply and practically thinking about the keto diet, even just thinking about it makes them feel that it is highly unrealistic and highly impractical, and it does not show any specific or very significant benefit. So why is keto diet still that famous? And what are the factors that makes keto diet special? Are there any loopholes? Are there any actual advantages to following the keto diet? There are, I would say, the bottom line, yes, there are advantages of the keto diet, but yes, just like there are two sides of the coins, keto diet has got amazing pros and some of the cons. Okay, just like in the last episode we discussed about the vegan diet, we broke it down into pieces, we got the unbiased scientific opinion about what the vegan diet and the implications are and how can we modify it if we want to go a vegan, if we want to become a vegan, take up vegan as a lifestyle. Just like that, we are going to go into the depth of the keto diet as well, break it down and find out what are the positives, what are the negatives, and if you want to go keto, what are the things that you should remember. That's what, my friend. As always, Vinay here, lecturer of exercise science at National Strength and Conditioning Association India, a body transformation and performance coach, here to make your transformation and performance journey easier, faster, and enjoyable. And in today's episode, my friend, let's break down the keto diet. So first things first, about the keto diet, what a keto diet actually is. So a keto diet actually is a very high fat diet. High fat diet, what do I mean by this is, suppose let's take an example that we are on a 2000 calorie diet. Okay, a 2000 calorie diet, the keto has got a significant proportion of calories coming from fat, from protein, from carbohydrates. When we talk about the standard diet, standard American diet is what majority of the researchers have compared the keto diet with, because in India we don't actually have a standard diet. We have a lot of different regions. South India, it's completely different food. Middle India, or what we could say Maharashtra and all of these parts, eat absolutely different food. The northern parts eat absolutely different food. The East India eats absolutely different food. So it is very difficult to like put it together and form that this is what India eats. Okay, but Americans, they generally have a very straightforward thing, so it is called as the standard American diet. Few people who have researched, who have went into details, have also named it as sad, standard American diet, sad. And that's the sad reality that is making Americans fat and obese, and that is the cause of the problem. So when we talk about the standard American diet, the majority of the calories, that is 50 to 60% of it, comes from carbohydrates, just like as we know, and then some of it comes from around 15-20% comes from fat, and the remaining 20% or 15 to 20% comes from protein. So that's why it's very sad about this diet. But when we talk about keto diet, majority of the calories comes from fat. It is a high fat diet. Almost 75 to around 80% of calories come from fat. Around 15 to 20% of calories come from protein, and around 5% calories comes from carbohydrates. These 5% of calories are also residual carbohydrates. Okay, these carbohydrates are not specific carbohydrates, as if we are eating rice, as if we are eating breads, as if we are eating pastas or sweet potatoes or potatoes and things like that. These are residual calories. Just like if we are eating a whole egg, we are getting some carbohydrates from it. If we are eating berries, we are getting some carbohydrates from it. There are only very specific foods that are allowed in the keto diet. Not all of the foods are allowed in the keto diet. So all of these 5% of calories from carbohydrates would be coming from residual carbohydrates and specifically fibers and all of those things, not specific carbohydrates like we are eating a carbohydrate source, primary carbohydrate source. These are coming from high fat, high protein sources that have some carbohydrates. Okay, so this keto diet is very interesting, my friend. So if we were just talking about a 2000 calorie diet, 75% of calories from fats would mean like we are getting somewhere around 1500 calories from fat. Okay, if we would consider that we are getting 20% of the calories from protein, that would mean that we are getting 400 calories somewhere from protein. And when we are getting 5% of calories, that means we are getting the remaining 100 calories from carbohydrate. Okay, that puts us at around 165 166 grams of fats on a daily basis. 166 grams of fats, my friend. 1 gram of fat has got 9 calories, 1 gram of protein has got 4, and 1 gram of carbs has got 4 calories. So breaking down 1500 divided by 9 gives us somewhere around 166 calories. Even if we consider 150 calories, my friend, it would take 10 tablespoons of ghee or butter or oil to be put in your food to hit the mark of 150 grams of fats into your daily routine. But there are a lot of interesting things about the keto diet. Now we have to consume that much amount of fat from our food without consuming carbohydrates, or else you would have said that, oh, let's get deep fried stuff, because a lot of oil is getting used there, a lot of oil is getting absorbed there. But no, it is not like that. We don't have to eat the fried foods and things like that. But what we can absolutely do is we can cook our whole eggs in butter, and we can top it off with a lot of cheese as well. That is something that we can absolutely do in a keto diet. We can eat a lot of chicken thighs, chicken leg piece, and top it off with butter. We can like cook it in butter. We can also top it off with butter. We can put some cheese on top of it, and that is how we can enjoy our food. But but this is the most amazing part, and this is the most what do you say, impractical part about the keto diet as well, that we don't have to eat carbohydrates. Now whenever we talk about eating our meals, Indian meals are incomplete without chapati, without rice, without idli, dosa, paratha, rajma, chole, sprouts, dal, all of these things, rasam, all of these are primary carbohydrate source. Now when we go on a keto diet, although we can eat a lot of cheese, a lot of whole eggs, a lot of chicken thighs and things like that, we cannot eat carbohydrates completely. This is the most exciting part, and this is the part that makes keto diet highly restrictive diet, extreme diet, and this is what leads to results as well. This is what leads to results as well, my friend. So this is the keto diet, and what benefits we get from the keto diet is, after a point when we are not consuming a lot of carbohydrates, we are consuming a lot of fat, our body goes into a state called as ketosis. This is a state where our body uses fats primarily for fuel. On the other hand, when we are generally eating carbohydrates and a combination of fat, protein, and things like that, our body's primary or the preferred fuel source is the carbohydrates, because they are easy to metabolize and they are easy to use. Our body can store a lot of blood sugar or blood glucose or glucose in our bloodstreams as well. So readily available, readily utilizable. Some of the glucose is stored in the form of glycogen in our muscles and in our liver as well. But the stores of glycogen or glucose are limited in our body. But the stores of fats are unlimited in our body. That's why we never stop gaining fat. If we never stop cutting back on our calories, we never stop gaining fat. So we have unlimited storage of fat in our body. So when we enter the phase of ketosis, what happens is our body's primary fuel source changes from glucose to fats. Then we burn a compound called as ketones. Ketones are the compounds that provide our body the energy that we need. Just like glucose was the compound that is our preferred source of fuel, ketones becomes a preferred source of fuel. This is what metabolizes a lot of fat for fuel on a daily basis. That is the biggest advantage of a keto diet. Okay, then when we have talked about what a keto diet is, let us talk about the benefits of a keto diet. Now, when we enter into a phase called as ketosis, just like we discussed, the primary fuel source changes from glucose to fats. The fat metabolized is absolutely high when compared to a standard glucose or standard carbohydrate diet. With a keto diet, in keto diet, we would be burning more fat for fuel. Okay, that is the number one thing. Number two thing, it is a highly extreme and a restrictive diet, my friend. When we talk about highly extreme and restrictive diets, just like we discussed in the last episode for the vegan diet as well, there are just three mechanisms of how a diet could work. Okay, all of the diets, if our goal is to drop body fat, they have to create a calorie deficit. Okay, a calorie deficit means we have to consume lesser calories than we are burning on a daily basis. Okay, so if we have to get into a calorie deficit, what a diet has to do is, it either has to cut out on one food or a specific entire food group. Just like in vegan diet, all of the animal based food sources are like cut out. In the keto diet, similar to the vegan diet, all of the carbohydrate sources are cut out. Okay, we have to like throw out all of the carbohydrates from our house if we want to go on a keto diet. The other two ways is restrict time in which we eat our food, and the third is to not restrict the time, not restrict the food, but just be very calculative about the calories that you are consuming, and make sure at the end of the day you have to hit your calories. Okay, if you are hitting your calories from high fat, high carbs, high protein, whatever, that does not matter. If you are just eating like 33% of fats, 33% of carbs, 33% of protein, even that would work in the third way, where we are just restricting calories altogether and not being worried about the timing, not being worried about which food it is coming from, and things like that. All of these three things could make sure that we could get into a calorie deficit and we could drop body fat. Okay, so when we are talking about the keto diet throws away all of the carbohydrates. So throwing away all of the carbohydrates again puts us at no options of eating cakes, pizzas, pastries, biscuits, breads, pastas, noodles, burgers, and things like that. And that's what makes it easier for us to like consume not to consume food when we are tired, when we are bored, when we are like craving for something sweet while watching Netflix, while watching a movie, while just sitting with our partner and things like that. Whereas on the other hand, we would have had chocolate, we would have had tea, we would have had coffee, we would have had ice creams and things like that. In a keto diet, we are left with no other option. When we are left with no other option, we are only allowed to eat all of the high fat foods. High fat foods are not hyper palatable, just like snacks, just like cookies, just like wafers, just like all of these things. So it makes us void of options, and that's what makes us eat less amount of calories, and that's what helps us to drop body fat, stay in a calorie deficit overall. Okay, that is one of the way. Then other benefit of a keto diet is that it is very satiating. Okay, you cannot eat a lot of high fat food on a daily basis. Okay, even if you think that it sounds easy, oil and butter and whole eggs and cheese, all of these things very easily I could eat, but try eating it once. Try eating whole eggs, like 5 whole eggs cooked in like butter and topped off with cheese, and eat it for next 4 5 hours. You will not even think about food. You will not think about food, my friend. Okay, few more ways of how the keto diet works, or few recipes that are there in the keto diet, are the bulletproof coffee. If you wouldn't have heard about it, it is a very exciting stuff. We have to take water, add in coffee, and add a tablespoon of coconut oil or butter on top of it, mix it and drink it. These guys call it the bulletproof coffee. Okay, what this does is, without adding in any calories, it is giving us saturated fats. Saturated fats again goes into the system, then they get converted into like monounsaturated fatty acids, and then converts into energy and gives us energy and things like that. So basically, when we are eating a lot of fat, our body will burn a lot of fat as well. Okay, I'll come on that point in the later part of the episode, but that's what these things help us to regulate our appetite and reduce our hunger and craving a lot. Okay, when we are eating a lot of fat, when we are eating good amount of protein, now it is not a high protein diet, my friend. Okay, be careful about this. It is not a high protein diet. High protein diet, okay, we are just, for a 2000 calorie diet, we are just getting 400 calories from protein. So that means just 100 calories. That would not be very sufficient for any person who is weighing below or above 50-55 kgs. Okay, so it won't be the optimal protein intake for all of them, because one of the reason why higher protein diet is not allowed in the keto diet is because there is a process called as gluconeogenesis, which is the formation of glucose from non-glucose compounds, and our body could also convert protein into glucose. That's what happens when we are on a very low calorie diet. We are not strength training, we are not eating enough muscle, enough protein. Our body could also break down muscle to form glucose, to form energy out of it and burn it as fuel. So that is how our body loses muscle as well, when we are not taking care of our body on a fat loss phase. Okay, so that's why higher protein intakes are also not allowed on a keto diet. Okay, so this is what brings us to a point where the keto diet makes us very satiated. We stay full all the time, we feel full all the time, and we don't crave for a lot of food majority of the time. Okay, and when we are allowed to eat food, when it is time for our food, again we are allowed to eat a lot of eggs, whole eggs. We are allowed to eat a lot of whole chicken, fish, any kind of whole meat. We are able to cook it into a lot of butter, a lot of ghee, a lot of coconut oil, add cheese on top, and these are the things that we could eat on a keto diet, which is very different than what we Indians are used to eating. But that's what the keto diet actually is. Okay, so next good point about the keto diet is about stable energy levels and focus. Okay, what causes a lot of problem with focus and stable energy levels is fluctuating glucose levels. Now what we Indians eat for breakfast: idli, dosa, pohe, upma, paratha, coffee, tea, biscuit, toast, bread, these things. These are very simple carbohydrate foods, or these foods are very simple for our body to break down. They do not contain a lot of fiber, they do not contain a lot of protein, they are very low on fat as well. So they will get digested quickly, they will release the blood glucose in the body quickly, quick release, that would go up as a spike and that would again drop. And this brings the energy level down, focus down, concentration down, and all of the cognitive focus, performance, and all of those parameters are reduced. Okay, that is one of the main problem that keto diet nullifies, because when we are not consuming a lot of glucose or carbohydrates, the energy levels, the glucose levels in the body never goes up and down, goes up and down. So we have a lot of stable energy levels and better focus, better concentration, and things like that, because we are at a peace. There is a steady fuel that is circulating in the body. The fuel source isn't going up, isn't going down, and that is one of the benefit. But this happens after or once we are in the ketosis. Means our body has gotten used to the keto diet, our body has gotten used to using fat for fuel. Initially, getting into the ketosis wala phase is difficult. First 3 days to like 7 days, first week or so, it is very difficult to like stop eating carbohydrates altogether, because we are used to eating a lot of carbohydrates. People on a daily basis eat somewhere around 250 to even 300 grams of carbohydrates. Okay, from those 300 grams of carbohydrates, if they are bringing it back to like 10 grams, 15 grams, 30 grams, or like that's the quantity of carbohydrates they would be eating, that also from non-residual carbo, that also from residual carbohydrates and not proper carb sources, it is difficult. Then, but once we get into the ketosis, the things are smooth. Okay, last but not the least, and this is the best point about the keto diet, is it could be a very amazing solution for type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is like this is the diabetes that is caused due to lifestyle factors, a lot of things, because of inactive lifestyle, then we are bad food habits and all of these things. So basically there are two types of diabetes: type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And in type 1 diabetes, basically we are insulin dependent, where we have to take insulin shots, and that gives us the the insulin that our body needs, because our body does not produce insulin. In type 2 diabetes, what happens is our body produces insulin, but it is insufficient. Okay, insufficient for the amount of glucose that is in our body. So that is why the type 2 diabetes is something that we could absolutely put into remission or even reverse if majority of things are taken care of, consistency is there, efforts are there, and we are a lot intentional with our lifestyle and eating habits and exercise routine and things. We have had clients who have almost put diabetes into remission and almost reversed diabetes. In the next few months or so, you would be listening from us about people who have reversed diabetes altogether, but that is about to come in the future. But we haven't even gone on a keto diet, so we just have to be a lot smarter and have the right knowledge, and the execution should be on point. But yes, keto diet has shown amazing benefits for people struggling or trying to cure type 2 diabetes, because again, type 2 diabetes is a problem where our body does not know or has become insulin resistant, and the insulin does not function as well. The sensitivity to insulin has gone down. So when we are on a keto diet, there is the what we could say, the dependence on insulin is a lot lower, because our body is not dealing with a lot of glucose, and our body does not need to produce a lot of insulin, and the role of insulin goes down drastically. Okay, because we are in a ketosis phase, we are working on a lot of ketones, and fat is the primary source for fuel. We are not eating a lot of carbohydrates. This could literally reverse type 2 diabetes. That is one of the best point of the keto diet. But then, just like everything has got its pros, everything has also got its cons. Let's talk about what are the loopholes, what are the cons of a keto diet. If so far you feel that keto diet could be the best and you could give it a shot, the worst part about the keto diet is the practicality of the keto diet. Because again, at the end of the day, my friend, if you could no longer stick to the plan, if you could not stay consistent with the diet plan, the results would not stay. The results would go away. And with very little ingestion of carbohydrates, we are off the ketosis phase. Because once there are carbohydrates in the system, why would body not use carbohydrates for fuel and go and use ketones for fuel? The body would absolutely love to use carbohydrates and glucose for fuel. So the body would not stay in the phase of ketosis and would go and use glucose for fuel. And our Indian scenarios, my friend, we have carbs available everywhere. There are instances where there is no fat and protein available, but carbohydrates are available everywhere. If you would just check out your fridge, you would find like 5,000 calories all from carbohydrates. If you would go and open the lockers in your kitchen, you would find a lot of snacks there. You would find everything that is very high in carbohydrates, but does not contain almost some, or like devoid of protein altogether, devoid of fibers altogether, and also they are also higher in fat. Not to say that they are not high in fat, but these fats are not what we want. In keto diet, we get majority of the fats from like animal sources, or we get majority of fat from oils and things like that, which is a lot different than what is there in the processed foods. A lot of trans fat, a lot of these are hyper palatable foods, my friend. Okay, we'll come to that point. But yes, consistency, practicality, and being able to stick to the keto diet and stay consistent with it is the biggest challenge of the keto diet. Because if we are not able to stay consistent with the keto diet, then the results would not come, results would not stay, and it would be very difficult for us to again get into ketosis and all of those things. Number two, the phase where we just go from eating high carbs to like no carbs almost, that phase is very difficult. For majority of people, in first 3 weeks they get off the idea of going on a keto diet, because it sounds good, we are motivated to start off, and in the first few days, first few weeks, we absolutely drop. Like I have seen clients, I have worked with clients who wanted to go on a keto diet specifically. The client who wanted to go on a keto diet, we went on a keto diet, he dropped 3 kgs in first week, my friend. 3 kgs in first week, second week he dropped 2 kgs, and in the third week he dropped 2 kgs again. So we dropped 7 kgs in just 3 weeks. And what happened in fourth week? He quit. That's what, my friend. He did not text me afterward, did not reply to my calls, did not reply to my messages, and just went underground just within 3 weeks. And after that, he was a good old friend of mine. He was with me in my college. We were together, we were good buddies. And after some time, we just caught up, and then he told me that he actually went for a birthday party and had some cake, had some pav bhaji and things like that. Although he said that he regulated the portions and the quantities, but still he gained 2 kgs overnight. That is what happened, and that got him demotivated, and that made him quit the keto diet. That was my experience with the keto diet. So far I haven't gone on a keto diet. I have seen my friends going on a keto diet by themselves and quitting it altogether. I have seen a person who has been a friend who is a former coach as well, and good knowledgeable person. He has got his education from somewhere who preach a lot of keto diet. He went on a keto diet, successfully did it for an year, and after an year he quit the keto diet, and we're still in touch. I asked him what happened and why did he quit. He told that it was a good learning experience and I would not go on a keto diet again. That's what he told me. And that's what it is difficult to stay on a keto diet, especially considering our environment, the social life that we have. And it is very very difficult to like stay consistent with it when we are traveling, stay consistent with it when we are going out with our friends, when we have like family gatherings, social outings, things like that, when we are trying to live with a family and not alone altogether, and when people are cooking for us, when we are eating with our families and things like that. It makes it very very difficult to stay on a keto diet. And again, the starting phase, what actually happens, why do people drop a lot of weight too fast, is because they drop a lot of body water. That is the thing. 1 gram of carbohydrates holds somewhere around 3 grams of water. Okay, so when we go down from like 300 grams of carbohydrates on a daily basis to like 10 grams of carbohydrates on a daily basis, we drop a lot of water from our body, a lot of glycogen stores, a lot of glucose in our body that was already stored. Everything is just flushed out. And that is the reason why first 2-3 weeks we drop a lot of weight on a keto diet. This also happens on a low carbohydrate diet, but depends on how low you go on the carbohydrate part. But this is the best thing that makes people believe that keto diet works, is because they see results are the biggest motivators, my friend. This is one of the biggest reason that makes people go onto a keto diet and start following a keto diet and take it up as a lifestyle, because they see quick initial results. These quick initial results just gets their buy-in, and once they are bought into the process, they start believing that this process would work. Then they start doing a lot of unimaginable things, and some of them even make it, some of them are not able to make it. Okay, so that is about the keto diet. Then we have few more points that don't make it the most optimal diet, especially for us Indians. Okay, one more experience that I have had with the keto diet was one of my student, when I am still a lecturer at NSC India. He was on a keto diet, and for our lectures and everything, the lectures are for an entire day, starts from 9, ends at 4. So during the lectures, he did not used to get tiffins. So what he used to do was, he used to go on like do dairies and things like that, get like half a kg of paneer and eat the paneer whole. That's it. That is what these people on a keto diet eat. Or they just take half a kg of cheese cube, Amul and all of those things, and they just eat the cheese cube as a whole. That's it. That was their lunch. One more thing that he used to do was, he used to get some chicken leg piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, and get a slab of butter, and just put the entire slab of butter on those leg piece and eat that thing all together. That is what he used to do. That is how the diets are, or the meals are on a keto diet. So that is what that means. It sounds tasty, it feels tasty. Chicken leg piece with a lot of butter and things like that, it absolutely tastes delicious. A lot of cheese absolutely tastes delicious. But when that things becomes too much, when we have to eat the same thing over and over again, it is like You could imagine what I'm trying to speak. And when we talk about vegetarians, keto diet is very, very highly unsustainable, unrealistic, and impractical when we are a vegetarian. That's it. Bottom line. That's it. I don't have to explain you anything. That's it. It is not sustainable for vegetarians. Vegans, no chance. Okay. So that is the downside of the keto diet. Then again, when we are getting accumulated or attuned to the ketosis, in to get into the ketosis phase, there is a term called as keto flu. Keto flu is basically we are constipated, we feel lightheaded, the energy levels are low because of lack of glucose, because of lack of fiber and things like that. The term we are feeling lightheaded, we are lacking our energy levels, and we feel tired all the time, we are constipated all the time, we feel nauseating, vomiting and things like that happens. This is when we are getting accumulated to the keto diet. After once we have got accumulated to it, the things are fairly smooth, but the initial phase, the starting phase, is kind of a difficult phase. Also, due to a lot of high fat food, the cholesterol or the lipid profile, basically the HDL cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, VLDL, very low density lipoprotein cholesterol, all of these are elevated in our system. So according to the data, according to the blood reports, we would be at a very high risk of developing cardiovascular diseases, heart attacks and things like that. But in practicality, the actual risk goes down. Very less amount of people die of heart attacks and all of these diseases when they are on a keto diet. One of the major reason behind all of this is that the keto diet, again, just like we discussed in the last episodes as well, that when we are going on any kind of diet, one thing that is absolutely restricted is processed food. Processed, hyper palatable food that we could eat continuously, we could binge on it without even feeling that we are full or we have had enough food. One thing that all of the diet are in common with is limiting or absolutely avoiding the processed food. So once that thing is avoided, once we are eating a lot of natural foods, once we are eating a lot of unprocessed or minimally processed foods, overall health outcomes are a lot better. When we are pairing this with a calorie restricted diet, now that does not have to mean that you are on a calorie deficit all the time. Staying on a calorie deficit all the time is not recommended as well. Okay, but staying at a maintenance calorie where we are not gaining weight as well. Okay, where we are not gaining weight, we are exercising, we are physically active, we are managing our stress well, we are sleeping well, we are hydrating ourselves well, when we have a purpose in life, when we have good relationships, good friends and good community of people to stay around, walk, talk, laugh, share our ideas and things like that, the life becomes a lot better. Okay, so if you want to restrict something, restrict the unprocessed foods altogether. But this is a problem that we have created for ourselves, is when we are not we, but yes, we people, when we are promoting keto as a lifestyle, there are some lazy people, there are some people who do not want to take up keto diet as a whole, and they want to have keto cookies, they want to have keto ice creams, they want to have keto cakes, they want to have keto biscuits, they want to have everything processed but according to the keto rule. All of these things are made out of like almond flour again very high in fat. Okay, almond flour baked or cooked with like a lot of coconut oil or ghee or butter and things like that, contains a lots of seeds and seed oils. Seed oils means not from like the bad ones, the good ones. Okay, so contains a lot of very high in fat overall, very low in carbohydrates, but then again these are hyper palatable foods, my friend. What is the problem or with the stuff with the hyper palatable food is we could eat a lot of it without even realizing how much food we have actually had. What this does is it does not make us restrict our calories very easily. We would eat like 1,000 calories from cookies and we would not even realize that we have had 1,000 calories. But to have 1,000 calories from like whole eggs and butter and cheese and things like that, chicken leg piece and whole chicken or other bigger meat like mutton, fish, a lot of cheese, butter, ghee, oil, coconut oil and things like that, it is very difficult to eat a lot of food. This makes it very difficult to go on a calorie surplus. That is the advantage, or that is the pro of a keto diet. But when we introduce hyper palatable foods cooked according to the keto guidelines, we are making things worse for us. That is that is the loophole. These are all of the loopholes that comes with the keto diet. But if you have a routine, if you could design a lifestyle, design an environment where you could maintain a keto diet, the keto diet would do wonders for you. Now, just like I am always a big fan of carbohydrates are not essential, but carbohydrates are not essential for survival, but carbohydrates are very effective for performance. Okay, now we are coming on to the point of practicality about how to make keto diet optimal, about how, if we have to follow keto diet, how could we tune it in a way where it supports our health, supports our performance, and we are also able to optimally cater to it, or stay sustainable, or follow it for long, stick to it for long. Okay, so if we have to stick to it for long, my friend, again, carbohydrates are not essential for survival, but carbohydrates are absolutely amazing for performance. Okay, so what I would recommend if you are planning or thinking to go on a keto diet is that don't go on a keto diet in the first place. That would be my simple advice for you. If you want to get the maximum benefit, or you want to drop fat, you want to build a physique, you want to get off type 2 diabetes and get all of the benefits of a keto diet, go on a low carb diet, my friend. A low carb diet is very sustainable, is followable across India, across social gatherings, across anywhere and anything that you do. You could just bank out on the calories in the entire day. If you are going out like for a wedding, or for an office party, or you have your wedding anniversary, or your kid's birthday, or things like that, the entire day you could just eat like protein and veggies, protein and veggies, protein and veggies, and you could have a lot of carbohydrates. Now, low carb diet is a diet where you are allowed, or you have to restrict carbohydrates below 100 grams. You still have 100 grams of carbohydrates for that wedding party, for that office party, for the anniversary that you are celebrating with your loved one, for your kid's birthday and things like that. You could get almost all, if not all, the benefits of a keto diet when you are going on a low carb diet. Okay, one more way how you could get the benefits of a keto diet is cyclical keto diet, in which you are on a keto diet for like 5 days a week, and 2 days you are including some carbohydrates, or you are going on an absolute keto diet for 6 days of a week, and 1 day you are eating high carb diet. Okay, that is how you can make keto diet sustainable, and that is how you could get the best of both the worlds, especially talking about the sustainability of a keto diet. But then again, it makes it very, very difficult to again switch from keto to carbs, and carbs to keto, and things like that. That switch is kind of a difficult, but once you get used to it, once you have that belief that no, I have to go on a keto diet and I have to do this, then these are the ways of how we can get on a keto diet. But again, there have been a lot of research around performance, the decrease in performance, especially high intensity performance, especially the strength, especially power production, especially high intensity short duration activities and things like that suffer a lot. Even if you might not realize this in the start, but it suffers a lot. Just start pairing, or start including like 1 gram, half a gram to 1 gram of carbohydrates per kg of your body weight pre-workout, or like intra-workout and things like that, and you would see your performance like just go through the roof. Just start adding some carbohydrates before your sleep, and your sleep quality would go through the roof. These are the 2 times. The 3 times that I would only recommend you to have carbs is like peri-workout window. Peri-workout means either pre-workout, intra-workout, or post-workout. This is the time when our body benefits a lot from carbohydrates. And the second would be around sleep, at your dinner time and things like that. These are the only 2 times when carbohydrates is the most effective for our body, effective for performance, and we should actually be eating it. Because people nowadays have a very inactive lifestyle, very sedentary job, and they don't move a lot, they don't use a lot of calories and things like that. So we do not need a lot of calories. So we should restrict the calories first from the things that are non-essential. Carbohydrates are not essential, but if our goal is also to perform better, if our goal is also to optimize our sleep, little bit 25 grams of carbohydrates in your dinner, 25, 25, 25, 75 grams of carbohydrates like pre, intra and post workout, that makes it 100 grams of carbohydrates on a daily basis. This would absolutely do wonders. Okay. Fats, again, fats, essential fats. Fats are essential for our body, essential for survival, essential for brain functioning, essential for our organ health, essential for hormone health, essential for like thermoregulation of the body, essential for a lot of things inside our body. So fats are essential as well, but we do not need 166 grams of carbohydrates, my friend. 1 gram of carbohydrates per kg of body weight. If you are weighing 60 kg, 60 gram of carbohydrates should be there in your routine. You should never go below 50 grams of carbohydrates on a daily basis for a longer period of time. That puts you down to a lot of risk. Okay, so make sure that you are consuming somewhere around 1 gram per kg. That would be like very sufficient. 100 gram of carbs, just like we discussed, like 25, 25, 25 and 25 for dinner. That would be amazing. Or what you could do is go for 1 gram to 2 grams of carbs per kg of body weight would absolutely also be fine. But don't have it like in the first half. If we have a lot of carbohydrates or even some carbohydrates that are simple carbohydrates without fiber, without protein in the first half, the productivity would suffer a lot. It would suffer a lot. Okay, because of the insulin up down, glucose up down, the focus concentration would not be at its peak, the cognitive performance would not be at its peak, the productivity would fall and things like that. So do not consume many carbs in the first half. That would be the best thing that we could do. Consume it peri-workout, consume it at dinner, and you can consume it almost at any other times other than the first half of the day. That makes carbohydrates a very good fuel source, a very good thing to include in our diet, or else we do not need carbohydrates. Protein, again, I've been talking a lot about protein, so I would not be emphasizing the fact about protein a lot in this episode. But then again, we need a lot of protein. Pair it with all of your meals. Have like 25 to 40 grams of protein with all of your meal is absolutely game changer. Okay, that's how you could make keto diet sustainable. That's how you could get the maximum bang for the buck from keto diet, and that's how it works. And that's all about the keto diet, my friend. I hope that cleared a lot of your doubt, gave you an amazing insight about the keto diet and how it is, what are its pros, what are its cons. I hope you got some value out of this episode. If you learned something new, drop it down into the comment below. What was the best thing that you learned? Drop me a DM. I would love to hear from you, and let me know what episodes or what topics you would like to hear from me in the coming episodes. And that's it from today's episode. Vinay here, signing off. See you for the next one.